Hi everyone, a very happy new year to you. Today I'm super excited. We are going to try out these two vintage cookie presses. I ordered both of these off of Mercari. The first one is by Mirro Aluminum Company. This particular one mentions the Newell Group as well as the Mirro Company on the box. The original aluminum goods company was renamed Mirro Aluminum in 1957, but then it was acquired by Newell Group in 1983, which makes this cookie press definitely newer than 1983. It came with 12 cookie discs, 3 tips for making other pastries or filling them, an instruction manual, and what is supposed to be a storage case, which is pretty badly crumbling apart. Interestingly, the manual for the Mirro press only mentions the Mirro company and not the Newell Group. The second cookie press is by Wherever Company. This one was sent to me simply wrapped in a bubble wrap. There was no box that came along with it. The instruction manual and the shape disc were tucked inside the press itself, and I honestly think it's a pretty clever way to store the discs. I couldn't find much information about the Wherever Company online except this kind of faint mention in a newspaper ad from 1939. The instruction manual mentions the Aluminum Cooking Utensil Company, which was eventually acquired by Newell Group and merged into Mirro. So that does kind of explain the similar appearance of the two presses, doesn't it? The Wherever manual also mentions New Kingston, Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania headquarters for the Aluminum Cooking Utensil Company only existed between 1901 to 1966. So this press is possibly produced before 1966. The colors and the font on the Wherever manual also kind of points towards an earlier production compared to the Mirro I have. Also, the Wherever manual spells cookie with the letter Y, while the Mirro manual spells it with an IE. The cookie with a Y, for which the plural is cookies with an IE, is an older version of the cookie with an IE as per Wiki Dictionary. So that kind of cumulatively confirms that my Wherever, at least the manual, is older than the Mirro one. How cool is that? Anyways, it was supposed to come with 12 cookie discs, but mine came with only 10. All the discs are serially numbered, and I seem to be missing number 2 and number 12, which are a circular flower with star in the middle and something that looks either like fireworks or bouquet of flowers as per the manual. I seriously don't mind not having those two. So when I ordered these, I thought that they were going to be the same size and one could use the cookie disc interchangeably, but the Wherever cookie press is definitely larger, not just in size, but also the discs are significantly bigger. Just for a quick comparison, here is a Wilton cookie press disc compared to the Mirro, and here is Sava cookie press compared to the Mirro. Both the Mirro and Wherever discs have these cutouts in them, and that is so that you can lock them inside the press head. Both the heads have these bumps on the side, and you're able to slide the disc under them and rotate to lock them in. The larger Wherever disc only fit inside its own press, whereas the Mirro disc fit perfectly in my Sava press, and I'm pretty happy about that. And as you'll see, this came out pretty handy the very first day I tried them. They do fit in the Wilton press, but the cutouts make them unusable there. After both the presses arrived from Mercari, I have cleaned them with soap and water and dried them. Each of these manuals gives you some basic instructions about how to use the press, how to clean and store it, and then gives you a few recipes, which I am very excited to try. And the Mirro manual actually even has some handwritten notes. I love finding these little personal touches that connect us to the past. For the sake of this video, let's focus on the basic Spritz cookie recipe. If you look at them, they both look almost identical, except for the fact that the Wherever recipe asks for half a teaspoon of baking powder and 1/4 teaspoon salt, whereas the Mirro recipe asks for the exact opposite proportions of the two. Now, I don't know if one of these is a typo, but I think I'm going to go with the higher amount of the baking powder, and since I'm using salted butter, I'm going to skip the salt. So here we have 1 cup of salted butter, 1 cup of powdered sugar. If you're using the regular granulated sugar, use 3/4 cup as the recipe suggests. I mix the two together with a spatula initially so that the powdered sugar doesn't fly everywhere. Then added about a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract and mixed everything together until the butter was a little fluffy. Then added 1 egg and whisked together until well incorporated. Added 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour and accidentally added 1 teaspoon of baking powder directly into the flour sifter and sift it into my mixing bowl. The recipe asks for only half a teaspoon of baking powder, but I actually liked the results I got with the 1 teaspoon, so I think I'm gonna stick with that recipe from now on. I mixed everything together with the hand mixer one last time. This dough looked a lot drier than what I remember from the past. I had to mix it with a spatula and then by hand to make sure that it all came together. Then I divided the dough into 3 bowls. In one, I added my favorite, the strawberry bakery emulsion by Lorraine Gourmet from Michael's. oils and some red rose gel food coloring by Wilton. To the second one, I added pure lemon extract and green gel as well as liquid food coloring by Wilton. I decided to start with the pine wheel disc from the Mirro and a similar looking one from the Wherever. I added the vanilla cookie dough to both presses, laid out the cookie sheets and got to pressing. After a few tries and a few scraped off cookies, I got my first one from Wherever that looked kind of like the design on the disc. The Mirro cookie press on the other hand was having a hard time releasing the cookies. After closer inspection, I noticed that the entire head on the Mirro press was coming loose from the pressure as I was turning the knob. The Wherever seemed to be performing a little bit better at this time. After screwing the head on the Mirro a little bit tighter, I was finally able to get my first pine wheels from the press. And I definitely liked those much better than the Wherever disc I was using. So I changed the discs and continued testing the two presses. My overall experience remained kind of the same. The Wherever press released the cookies much better while they kept on getting stuck in the Mirro, but whatever shapes the Wherever pressed out looked kind of wonky and the Mirro cookie head kept on coming loose. So I decided to take a break for the night and debug the next morning. I did press out a few cookies using the Mirro discs in the Sava press for the next day's party. Remember, I had said that combo was going to come handy? Anyways, next day with a fresh eye and a fresh batch of cookie dough, I figured out the solution to the problems with both the presses. First of all, when using the Wherever press, after you press out the cookies, you need to turn the knob back a little every single time. If you don't, the dough under pressure keeps on getting pressed out, hence the weird shapes. Once I figured that out, it was smooth running with that press from there on. And with the Mirro press, I actually had it screwed backwards. If you look at the barrel, there are no distinct marks that point you towards where the disc end versus the knob end is supposed to go. But if you look closely, the barrel has a blunt end versus a sharper end. The blunt end almost looks like the metal was folded outwards. That is the knob end, where the press is supposed to go through, and the disc head fits on the sharper side. Once those were screwed in correctly, the head stopped coming loose and the cookie started releasing a little bit easier. However, the Wherever press still felt like it was built better than the Mirro. The Mirro press I have has a sharper edge on the disc head, and I'm afraid that when I'm screwing and unscrewing it to load the press with my hands a little bit slippery, I might get cut. For that reason, I prefer to use a paper towel in my hand while I'm handling the head. Also, even when screwed on tight, a lot more dough seems to seep into the Mirro head threads than the Wherever, and it turns a little bit black, I'm guessing from the aluminum, so it has to be thrown out. Towards the very end of the second batch, I also found tiny little aluminum shavings in the discards from the Mirro, like I had read in a comments in one blog. So just be careful if you're using one of these. I didn't find any in the Wherever press, but you never know, so just be careful. Overall, I think I'm pretty happy to have them both. I ended up with a beautiful batch of cookies for my guests and a Spritz cookie recipe that was better than any I had tried before. Both of these presses offer cookie shapes that are not present in the Sava or the Wilton press. They also hold a lot more cookie dough in the barrels, so if you're making cookies with a single flavor, you might be able to load almost the whole batch of dough in one go. And in general, when I'm holding them, I feel like I'm holding a piece of history in my hand, or like I'm listening to stories from someone's old grandmother, and that is good enough for me to hold on to them. So let me know in the comments if you own any of these old presses and where you got them from, and if you have any tips that have been passed down to you from someone. I would love to hear about them as well. I hope you like this video, and next time we'll be testing out another air fryer, so make sure that you're subscribed and keep that notification bell rung, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!